Hello, friends, and welcome back to the new episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady. And our first story is about a crazy lady who was trying to take food from a client. Lady thinks I'm room service, won't let me pass until I give her my food. Backstory. In the winter of 2017, my family went on a huge road trip from where we lived in Northern California all the way to Arizona and Nevada. We spent 5 days in Arizona and Christmas in a hotel overlooking the Grand Canyon, and then we were off to Nevada, where we were going to spend just a few nights to celebrate my dad's birthday and see a David Copperfield show. We ate dinner at an adjoining restaurant called Wolfgang Puck, and then my parents left my sister and I, 14 and 16 at the time, to go to the hotel room alone, so long as we got them some dessert and were back in the room within an hour. We got Black Forest chocolate cake and some rum raisin ice cream and headed back upstairs, along with leftover food from dinner. When we reached the 8th floor, we stepped out and began walking to the room. Down the hall to the right, just as we turned the corner, a door out left opened. An irate-looking woman stepped out, tapped her foot impatiently, and stared expectantly at us. Crazy lady. CL. Waiter. W. CL. Finally, it should not take you over an hour to deliver some damn cake. What do you... Huh? She grabbed for the food I was carrying, the dessert. My sister had the leftovers. Give those here. I'm a paying customer. I won't stand for you mouthing off like that. Hey, what are you doing? That's my food. I jerked back, and my sister's already several feet back, looking amused but also worried. Probably about the cake, not me. Listen, I don't want to hear your excuses. Another word out of either of you, and I'll have you reported. I engaged my swear word faucet. What in the ever-loving F are you on about? We are effing guests at the hotel, and you better stay the F back. The waiter then came around the corner, and in front of him was a huge cart that was literally piled with food. Hello? I heard yelling. Is something wrong? Before I can even get a word in, the crazy lady yells, Your dumb employees not only came an hour late with my food, but now they're being argumentative and are refusing to give me food. Are you in charge around here? Maybe you could talk some sense into them. The waiter turned to me and said, Young man, is what she's saying? Then he stopped mid-sentence, realizing that he was talking to a 5'3" teenager whose voice hadn't even cracked yet. Ma'am, I don't know who you think these people are, but they aren't waiters. They have food, yes, but that's from the Wolfgang Puck, as you can see by the box logo. That's not even where you ordered the food from. She tried to interrupt, but he cut her off. I know, because I have your food right here. She turned bright red and shut up right away. After that, the waiter told us to wait a bit further down the hall and finished up giving the lady her dessert. He then came back to us and escorted us to our rooms, and for the most part, that was the end of it. We did get some free breakfast cards delivered to our door early the next morning, but we were leaving for a lunch engagement on our drive home, and there was no time to use them. And our second story. So I grabbed him. It finally happened. Kind of traumatic. I did a bad and wore red into a Target with khakis. Long story short, for preamble, I'd gotten off an overnight shift and didn't think about where I was going and saw a Target. Knew I needed a few things from laundry detergent to some groceries and such, so I went there. I got stopped a few times, but every time I simply said I wasn't an employee and only had to show my work badge once out of 4 times, until the last guy. So to set the stage, I'm 5'6" and just over 120 pounds if I eat a full course meal and don't take a crap. So I'd say I'm smallish. The dude that stopped me is about a foot taller than me and the pure definition of a gym bro. Now I won't lie, I didn't handle it well. I was tired after the overnight and annoyed I'd been stopped several times now. He called out to me. I ignored him. He followed and called out a few more times, and I simply said, Don't work here. He didn't like that. He ran in front of me and grabbed my left arm and began to shout, I am a customer, goddamn! I punched him in the throat with my free arm out of reflex. He quickly let go of my arm, began coughing violently, and I just stood there in disbelief that A, someone would just grab an individual and scream at them, and B, I just punched a guy over 6 feet tall and way stronger than me who was obviously angry at me. I ran. I ran to the front counter, pulled my phone out, and called 911. I told the person on the phone and the employees what happened and hid. Eventually, the cops came. They see this guy screaming at employees to tell him where I went. After about an hour of de-escalation, I came out. He says something along the lines of assaulting me after he politely tried to get my attention. I explain my side and that I'm not an employee. Cops check cameras, see what happened, then cuff him and escort him out. This is a highly abridged version of what happened, as this took a while to get done. During this, he tried to explain, and I distinctly remembered, so I grabbed him, hence the post title. They asked me if I wanted to press charges. Honestly, no. I don't have the mental energy to take it to court, and honestly, I feel like punching him in the throat was enough payback personally for me. And our third story. A Karen tries to get the owner's daughter fired. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm putting this on the right one, but I hope I have. So background, this was about 2 years ago when my dad owned a pub. I was 14 and old enough to chip in by taking orders for the restaurant, cleaning tables, etc. And one day we just opened and my dad had gone down to the basement to change one of the kegs. As I was sitting at the bar talking to our new employee, showing them what to say, my dad had taught me himself and the employee was barely out of college. The employee asked if it was okay if she quickly went to the bathroom since there weren't any customers. It was only about 4 o'clock and locals don't normally start pouring in until about 6. So I said it was okay. So I'm drinking my cola when Karen arrives. "Excuse me?" "Hello?" I say. "I want a..." She lists her drink. "And be quick with it." I tell her I'm sorry, I'm not working. She cuts me off. "Stop lying! I've seen you clean the tables. I know you work here." "I'm sorry, Miss Karen, but I'm not working today, and even if I was, I couldn't get your drink since I'm not even allowed behind the bar." "Stop lying! You're here so much, you must be working. Get me my drink!" "Miss Karen, She cut me off again. "You're so rude. I know the owner, you know. I could get you fired." At that point, the new employee returns and says, "Hello, welcome to XXN. What can I get for you?" "Get me the owner! I want this girl fired!" I gave the new employee a look that basically said, "Go get my dad." I was holding in tears at this point, and the new employee could see that. "I'll just grab him from downstairs. One moment." "Good." Well, it turns out my dad had been upstairs the entire time Karen had been here, and he heard it all. "What's the meaning of this?" he firmly asked Karen. "Mr. R. It's my dad's last name. "This employee of yours needs to be..." My dad cut her off. "She's not my employee." "What? I've seen her clean up and take orders." Dad cut her off again. "That's because she's my daughter." Karen turned to look at me, who was still trying to calm down, and speaks, "If you really are his daughter, then why couldn't you get me a drink?" Me and my dad were shocked and in disbelief by this, but I managed to speak. "Because I'm 14. It's illegal." Karen went pale before she could speak. My dad said, "Now get out of my pub. You're banned for the rest of the month." We haven't seen her, mainly because about 10 months later, my dad sold the pub. And our next story. I work here, but the lady you're looking for doesn't. Not sure if this belongs in this category, but here goes. Format, mobile. Sorry, folks. So I work in a hospital on a busy unit where we have a high patient turnover rate. The patients are acute, either admitted with medical crisis that needs tending to now, or have a medical issue resolved and are awaiting a bed in a ward to be discharged. This story pertains to the latter half of our patient demographics. As noted, the day this incident occurred, our unit was busy. Being the closest to the nursing station, I pick up the phone and answer it. On the other end of the line is a patient's wife calling to make plans for a patient's discharge some days away, and this is our phone conversation. W is wife, me is me. Me. "Hello, this is One Raised Brow's work unit. One Raised Brow speaking. How may I help you?" "Yeah, I need to talk with Susanna." "Okay. Do you happen to know Susanna's last name? If you can tell me, I'll know how I may assist you. We field plenty of phone calls from patient family and friends, and it's not uncommon for them to forget that we have a lot of patients here, some with the same name, and most times they ask for a patient by their first name. We usually have to ask for a surname to know exactly who they're requesting before redirecting them accordingly." "I don't know. She never told me." She? Already dreading having to find an unoccupied computer to log in and do a patient search to find this Susanna for this patient's acquaintance, since I know we don't happen to have one admitted to our ward. "The manager. One Raised Brow's manager's name. She's the one who told me Susanna works there." It finally dawns on me that the person on the phone is not looking for a patient, but a staff member. Phew. Well, you are correct that is my manager's name, but there is no Susanna working here. There's a Susanna working as a charge nurse next door. Are you sure you're not looking for blank unit? My manager has a large portfolio, which includes other units, so it's possible that my manager may have said the wrong thing. "No, I was told by your manager that Susanna is the charge nurse for One Raised Brow's unit. Now, get her on the phone and let me speak with her." "Yeah, I can't do that. If you're wanting Susanna, I can transfer the phone over to the blank unit and you can speak with that charge nurse, Susanna. I don't want that until I want to speak to Susanna in your unit. I take a deep breath and say, was there something particular that you wanted to speak to Susanna about? Perhaps I can help. You can't help me. I need Susanna. Do your inquiries pertain to something unit specific? Are you looking for this unit? Yes, get Susanna on the line now. If you're wanting to talk to my charge nurse, whose name is Ada, she's actually gone home for the day. She'll be back tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's Ada, our charge nurse for this ward. But if you're wanting to speak with Susanna still, you're out of luck. She doesn't work here. And I hang up. I assumed if it was an emergency, she would have spoken to me about her issues immediately or would have called back right away to demand to speak with Susanna again. In the end, I heard from Ada, my charge nurse, that the lady did call back the next day to inquire about a patient we had on the ward, and the patient was getting discharged that day. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.